Welcome back to LEGO Wars and part 2 of our Champions mini-series. Tonight, another batch of 8 machines have been drawn to take on a legend of the series to earn a right to face one of our champions. Our bounty boss this week is Atlas. Based on the original RWA build from OG commentator Anderson, Atlas launched into the LEGO Wars scene in a second international special, taking the title on its debut and almost followed it up with a second series title before Waddle put a stop to its run. Along with its YouTuber's crown, Atlas is almost always a contender deep in the brackets, and as of recording is the winningest robot in LEGO Wars with 33 victories, 6 more than second place their old nemesis Panic Attack. The gauntlet is set for our challengers, so let's see who will be fighting tonight. First up, it's two veterans of LEGO Wars, Kato and Modia against Megalania before Plunderbird L rises from the grave to face rookies Hypno Disc. Cow Tools are up next against the favourites in this group, 23 Red, before we end with another rookie and Bop against Jevon's rival Muffin. With our lineup set, let's move over to Sam and get on with the action.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
Megalania and Kato Nemoidia then in the arena together. We saw, of course, Megalania in the All-Star Special. Oh, and we didn't really get to see the weapon into much effect, but there it was effective. Look at that, ripping the face off of Kato Nemoidia, and again, big impact there, but Kato Nemoidia pushing Megalania against the arena wall, getting that weapon stopped on Megalania. It needs to kind of prove it's still got the firepower to hang with the big boys in LEGO Wars, does Megalania, but Kato Nemoidia, has that effective front end. The ground game on Kato Nemoidia is one of the very, very best in the series, it has to be said, which is surprising considering, it's only just like, there's nothing special to it. There is Megalania trying to get that weapon to spin up to speed and is struggling to get through the gears and try and get some momentum behind that weapon. Meanwhile, speaking of momentum behind the weapon, Kato Nemoidia's weapon looks very limp and lifeless. Kato Nemoidia goes for the pit button and gets the pit button, down it goes. What can Kato Nemoidia do? That weapon is definitely broken forward, isn't it? And Megalania's weapon, I wouldn't exactly say is the most active here, it has to be said. It's pretty droll at the moment from these two. Megalania will be disappointed once again with the lack of performance from this version of the robot. Kato Nemoidia, used to taking the hits and giving them back. Not really able to give them back so far, but is definitely kind of controlling the pace of the fight. Megalania, what can it do without that big weapon? What else has it got in the tank? I'd say the answer is so far not very much. They'll be very concerned about this going into the main 5th LEGO Wars series, but at the moment Kato Nemoidia is absolutely bossing the fight, I'd have to say. So far, both robots kind of bumping into each other. Not really the most electrifying start to the episode, of course. Our aim today, to find a robot to fight against our all-star Atlas, who sits at the end of the show for one of our competitors to face later on. Kato Nemoidia and Megalania, blow for blow. A lot of bumping and banging, but not a whole lot of carnage in the arena. Certainly a slower pace fight to kick things off tonight. Struggling really to see a clear winner out of these two. Megalania now getting in underneath and pushing and nudging Kato Nemoidia towards the pit, but can't quite get it down the pit. Kato Nemoidia now gets the weapon lodged behind the spinning bar of Megalania, but both stay still and trying to guide Kato Nemoidia towards the pit. Megalania stops. This is a truly thrilling fight. Well, we're going to go to a judge's decision. I want the last couple of minutes of my life back. That was awful. It wasn't the best fight in the world. One for the purists as we go to a decision. And the judges are going to have their work cut out here to find ourselves a winner. Well, I did say it was one for the purists, but initially there was a good little bit of carnage at the start. We saw there the damage inflicted by Megalania, good weapon effectiveness there, but from then on that category kind of went out the window with both robots kind of limping without any major weaponry to speak of. Good back and forth in terms of pushing match, but there's no real decisive knockout blow. Difficult one for the judges to decide here.
And the winner by unanimous decision is Kato Nemoidia. The ongoing struggles for Megalania continue as Kato again shows its longevity and moving on. Now it's the moment a lot of people have been waiting for as Hypno Disc makes its LEGO Wars debut against the rebuilt relic of the series Plunderbird L.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. activate.
An absolute Robot Wars powerhouse match here. Plunderbird L2 returning to LEGO Wars for the first time in over 3 series against Hypno Disc, finally in the LEGO Wars arena. And that weapon of Hypno Disc is getting up to speed. Plunderbird L2, inspired by Beetleweight robot Decladon. For those who know it, it's an absolutely gorgeous little robot. And Plunderbird L2 has those forks stuck underneath, and Hypno Disc rips off one of the forks in front. That's the carnage you wanted to see from Hypno Disc, but the weapon of Hypno Disc has now stopped. I wonder if that's permanently stopped, I wonder. Plunderbird L2 returning back from LEGO Wars hibernation, was last seen in the 2nd series. Plunderbird L2 looking a lot more effective than its predecessor, I think, and that crushing arm coming in on the top of Hypno Disc. Hypno Disc has kind of stopped with that weapon, hasn't it? And Plunderbird L2 here could have an absolutely massive, famous victory. Those forks in underneath the side of Hypno Disc, and it's being dragged towards the pit and the pit button. Careful, boys, don't want to get caught out by that pit button. Hypno Disc, I think they've realised that their weapon has kind of stopped and stilled, really. They've got to try and turn their fight around here. At the moment, though, they're being turned around by Plunderbird L2, having a great little renaissance in this fight. Hypno Disc, probably the favourites going into this fight. The streamer waggles, but the pit goes down via Plunderbird L2 and is pushing Hypno Disc back here. The claw comes down again on top of Hypno Disc. Pushed back into that arena wall, but gets away now. What can they do? The weapon's stopped. What else has Hypno Disc got when that weapon isn't working? Well, not a whole lot of control, as Plunderbird L2 pits Hypno Disc for a famous, famous victory. And there's a little waggle of a Shremek. It's too late, boys, you're gone. I think you'd have got quite long odds on Plunderbird L2 taking the victory in this fight before it, but Hypno Disc never really got going. That one initial hit there did for the weapon. Plunderbird L2 then recovered well, took the damage early on, but recovered well, as I said, nudging Hypno Disc backwards all the fight, no grip for Hypno Disc, and once there was a momentary lapse in judgment here from Hypno Disc, Plunderbird took full advantage to go through.
A surprise result from the fast food looking Plunderbird as they dump Hypno Disc down the pit. Next up is 2-time quarterfinalist 23 Red against the rookie bot Cowtools.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
A stiff ask then for absolute rookie Cowtools in the LEGO Wars arena, taking on a veteran, and a very good veteran that, in 23 Red. Although Cowtools and Mini Milk, the little mini bot on the right there, will do their very, very best to try and go all the way in this competition. Their first bow in LEGO Wars. Of course, Cowtools, based off the Beetleweight combat robot of the same name, built by Henry Strang. Mini Milk, of course, also sharing the same name with its larger compatriot, I guess. Cowtools, officially the longest robot in LEGO Wars history, trying to use that weapon to great effect and has actually stopped. Oh, well, that's big impact there from 23 Red. It's a battle of the spinners here in this one. Two very, very interesting and unique designs. As I said, Cowtools is the longest LEGO Wars robot out there. Really interesting to know. Kind of works a little bit like... Oh, there's a big impact on poor old Mini Milk, though. I was going to say it works a bit like Thagomizer, if you know what that robot is like, but Mini Milk here is going for the pit button and trying to be a bit tactical here after taking an absolute massive shot from 23 Red. Bits and pieces all over the arena. Two very effective weapons, it has to be said, on both of these robots. Well, two very effective weapons on 23 Red by itself. Pit button now goes down from Mini Milk. Cowtools using that front end to try and stop the weapons initially and then swing round like that and use the weapon as a big old tail and swipe away armour, maybe catch the wheels and rip the wheels off of 23 Red, and so far it's doing pretty well in its LEGO Wars debut. There's Mini Milk as well, trying to get in on the action. Cowtools retreats to the arena centre. 23 Red being pushed back here by Mini Milk. This is a very impressive little run from the mini-bot, giving Clementine a good old run for its money, or Crabantine, I suppose it is now known, thanks to our previous commentator here at LEGO Wars. Mini Milk trying to... Can I think Mini Milk push 23 Red in the pit? It would be an amazing achievement if it could. Cowtools stands off ready to cut off that escape route here from 23 Red, and 23 Red, the experienced competitor, is pushed into the pit in a combined movement from Mini Milk and Cowtools. What a win for Cowtools. I don't think it's unfair to say that 23 Red was probably the favourite going into this competition, but Cowtools has upset the odds and proven us all wrong. A great debut, effectively using the weapon there on 23 Red. Mini Milk as well, using its own wedge to stop the weaponry of 23 Red. Didn't stop it all the time though, did take big damage here from 23 Red, proving the quality of that robot, but Cowtools kept chipping away, and in the end combined with its mini-bot to push 23 Red in the pit.
A big upset there as the favourite for tonight, 23 Red falters against the impressive rookies Cowtools. Let's see if fellow rookies Bop can join them in the next round, or can Muffin spoil the party?
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Bop and Muffin then, our third fight of the night. Bop referred to as just a little guy from the LEGO Wars pits, but so far having an absolutely massive effect on the top armour there of Muffin, who has got a good clamp on the front of Bop, it has to be said, but swinging away is that Bop hammer and causing all kinds of carnage there, ripping the top armour off. And Muffin, oh dear, well that's they're not gone entirely to plan for Muffin, although that said, you know, Muffin has been known to shed all of its armour and still win fights, as we saw its fight against Emulator in the previous LEGO Wars series. Bop, meanwhile, swinging away with that hammer. Famed Beetleweight competitor in the UK, now making its debut in the LEGO Wars arena and doing a pretty good job of it, has to be said. Muffin so far looking a bit worse for wear, but activates the pit button. We've seen this before from Muffin. They are quite good at controlling fights as and when they need to. And so far I'd say Bop is absolutely in command, but they need to be aware that Muffin has been known to cause a surprise in the past. They're no slouches, it's a fairly decent drivetrain on it as well. Bop retreats to safety in the arena centre, now to the rear wall of the arena, staying out of trouble from those jaws of Muffin, who is looking completely nude at the moment in the arena, it has to be said. Not one for the faint of heart. Muffin now, oh, good push maybe behind Bop, can he get it in the pit? No, Bop gets away. But isn't running as smoothly as it was at the start of the fight, Bop, and we haven't seen much of that hammer for quite a while. There it is. But it's certainly not as potent as it was early on. Bop retreats backwards, trying to push Muffin to the pit, maybe, doesn't quite get it. Bop stops again. That thermal cutout issue is a known issue for LEGO robots, and it has been plaguing quite a lot of the competitors over the years. And Bop is the latest in that line by the looks of it. And there's a lot going on in the Bop regime, it has to be said, so wouldn't be too surprised if it's a bit too overcomplicated. They might have to work on that as the series goes on. Of course, our aim for tonight is to try and find an opponent for Atlas. On the evidence of this, both would be quite a worthy matchup. Bop stops again and nudged back by Muffin, who has kind of grown into the fight. Despite losing all of its armour early on, Bop is stuck in that corner. Hammer raised. But Muffin is the one kind of pressing and harassing Bop at the moment. Bop, can they get another big swing in and cause more damage? I'm not sure. Judges might have to be called into play if things continue here between Bop and Muffin, and I think they will be as the clock ticks down. Looking at control, aggression, and weapon effectiveness to decide a winner between Muffin and Bop,
6.
which was a very, very fun fight initially, but kind of petered out towards the end as they wore out of energy. A bit of a front-loaded fight here between Bop and Muffin. Bop initially with the enormous damage at the start, but Muffin was able to grab a hold of Bop more often than not as well and controlled large portions of the fight. We see here the massive damage caused by Bop, ripping off the top and front armour of Muffin. Muffin didn't really mind that though, and as the fight wore on, we noticed Bop began to tire and Muffin come into the fight a lot more. I wonder if that early damage will be decisive though.
And the winner, by unanimous decision, is Bop. Despite some battery issues, Bop is through to the next round. They will face Cowtools a little later on, but first it's the stalwarts Cat and Emodia against the resurrected Plunderbird L.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Cato Nemoidia and Plunderbird L2, our first semi-final, and once again Plunderbird L2's forks get stuck underneath the chassis of the robot, and that is something that's going to have to be worked on for Plunderbird L2. That is not a great design, it's a bit of a flaw where the forks get bent in underneath the robot and they kind of lift those front wheels off the floor. It reduces their traction and means that Kato and Nemoidia now can just drive in underneath and push them back at will, it seems. Kato and Nemoidia, of course, getting past Megalania on a pretty tight judges' decision. Wasn't exactly a thrilling fight in the first one. Probably more action in this fight already than in that first one for Kato and Nemoidia. Kato and Nemoidia, of course, retreats back to the centre of the arena. L2 recovered its forks a bit better now. One's bent back on itself, one's bent underneath the robot once again. Not ideal, that, is it? They're going to have to work on that design going forward to stop that from happening. They're all kind of splayed out here, those forks. Not really getting underneath as well, which is a bit of an issue. Kato Nemoidia has excellent ground game though, we know this. Effective ground game at the front, which is surprising considering like the style of the robot. Plunderbird L2 using the claw to kind of grab hold of the top and stop Kato from escaping. Does so eventually though. Kato Nemoidia tries to get to the side of Plunderbird L2. Great win in the first fight for Plunderbird against Hypno Disc, eliminating that via the pits. Kato, of course, winning a judge's decision against Megalania, as I said. Famous win for Kato and a potential final here in the Champions episode to meet Atlas, who will be fighting the legend of Lego Wars. Have to wait and see. Plunderbird has done pretty well, considering it's their first time back in a couple of series. They've kept with the power curve of the competition. Kato Nemoidia now stuck side on, and Plunderbird gets that claw in on the top there on one of the receivers, I think, of Kato Nemoidia. Gets away though, Kato. Recovers well, and in underneath goes Kato once again. We haven't seen the face completely ripped away in any of their fights so far. That's surprised me quite a lot. There's still time though in this fight for it to be pulled away by Plunderbird L2. Plunderbird getting that claw in on the side of Kato, and can it lift up now and maybe cause more damage to the side? No, doesn't get the opportunity to. Kato gets away again, but good grappling once again by Plunderbird L2. Stuck on top of the discarded armour panel there of Kato. Kato stuck in that corner. Can they get away? Yes. Down comes the hammer. A lot more effective in this fight, has to be said. It kind of died quite early on in the last fight, and I think it's going to go to another judge's decision with 5 seconds to go, unless there's a major change here. Plunderbird and Kato Nemoidia, your fates are in the judges' hands as we go to full distance in the first semi-final. Key factor in this fight, the forks of Plunderbird L2. They kept getting stuck underneath, and Kato, with its excellent ground game, took full advantage, swinging the hammer often and effectively. They opened the pit button, neither really got the opportunity to throw the other down the pit. See there, more swinging from the hammer and armour panels coming away for Kato Nemoidia. It wasn't all one-way traffic. Good grab there from Plunderbird L2, and a bit later on we saw this happen, but I think it's not enough when it goes to the judges.
And the winner, by unanimous decision, is Kato Nemoidia. Kato grinds out the win, but might need a little more beans if they're going to challenge Atlas tonight. Meanwhile, Bop and Cowtools are in the arena for Best Rookie honours.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
An all Beetleweight replica clash then between Cowtools and Bop. Good friends in real life, Henry Strang and Craig Croucher in the arena. They're also pretty good friends, I think. Cowtools starting off as probably the favourites in this fight after that famous win over 23 Red. Cowtools and Bop come to blows. Bop, of course, getting that win over Muffin via the judges. Cowtools pitting 23 Red with the mini-bots, proving very effective as well. And once again, Mini Mill here proving extremely effective, penning Bop into that corner with the screws, which look a bit inactive currently, as they think they currently are. Bop, heavily armoured at the front and sides, will be beneficial against the big horizontal spinner like Cowtools. Cowtools trying to get a good angle to bring the weapon into play like that. So far, though, not really able to cause the massive carnage we saw in the first fight against 23 Red. Bop, meanwhile, struggling to get going in this fight, and I wonder if those issues that plagued it in the first fight as it wore on against Muffin have reared their head once again. Cowtools sits off Mini Milk, gets round the back. Hit button activated by Bop, but that's probably played into Mini Milk's hands, if anything, and Cowtools using the mini-bot as a kind of pin to push Bop maybe towards the pit. No, not quite. Bop gets a good impact again there by Cowtools, and again, so far so good I'd say for Cowtools. Bop not really got into the fight, has it? It's not really put the power down, it's not been able to bring that weapon into play with any great effect, and Cowtools just keeps swinging from side to side like a big old pendulum, using that weapon to great effect. Mini Milk getting wedged in underneath, stopping the wheels of Bop from spinning fully, if I could get my words out. They actually pay me to do this, folks. They don't. Mini Milk behind Bop, and now both robots get in underneath Bop as it's swinging away with its hammer, and a bit of friendly fire there between Mini Milk and Cowtools. Mini Milk stands clear. Mini Milk still standing clear of that big weapon of Cowtools. If I can get the words out, that'd be great. Bop comes back in on the attack. A little bit of damage to the decoration at the side there, but only superficial damage. So far has been one-way traffic in favour of Cowtools, I'd say. Mini Milk stands off. Gets round to the side again, does Cowtools, but Bop really is struggling to kind of get any kind of momentum in this fight. They've not really had a chance to use their weapon to any great effect. Cowtools, meanwhile, sweeping the arena, trying to use that weapon as a big old thwack. Essentially, it's a sideways thwack bot, and a good push from Cowtools, and Bop is on the very rickety edge, and there goes Bop in the pit, and eliminated from the competition. Cowtools goes through to meet Kato Namoja in the final. I do wonder if there was some hangover from that fight with Muffin earlier on for Bop. They never really got going in this fight. Cowtools dominant throughout. Weren't really able to cause the massive damage because Bop is well armoured at the front and the sides, but no real impact from that big hammer of Bop. Good teamwork from the two parts of the cluster, and as the fight wore on, there was only going to be one winner. Cowtools pitting Bop in some style.
A steady performance from Cowtools, but they're in the final, and with those exposed wheels on Kato, we could be in store for an upset, so let's find out who will face Atlas.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Probably not the final we expected at the start of proceedings, but here we are. Kato Namoja and Cowtools go head to head for the right to fight Atlas at the end of the episode. Kato Namoja swinging away with the hammer. Off comes the back panel. They won't mind that. They're used to that kind of thing. And they're pushing Mini Milk up and over and eliminating it from the fight. Now that could be crucial because the effectiveness of Cowtools is greatly diminished when they don't have the Minibot fighting for them. Good swing there from Kato Namoja. Cowtools trying to free its little partner in crime, Mini Milk, and does so to great effect. Kato Namoja thinks I'll go for the pit button, doesn't get it. Now Mini Milk intercepts and tries to get behind Kato Namoja. Great tactics already between these, three robots in the arena. Mini Milk stands by the pit button. He's lying in wait maybe for an opportunity to bring that pit down later on at the opportune moment. Kato Namoja using that big plough at the front to deflect the weapon of Cowtools thus far. How long will it last? Cowtools up to speed. Not able to get in underneath with those front little forklifts at the front. Mini Milk in underneath Kato Namoja, but doesn't activate the pit there. Interesting. They are guarding the pit button, doesn't matter in the end because the pit button has now been activated by a combination of Kato Namoja driving at Mini Milk. And Mini Milk goes back in underneath once again on Kato Namoja. That ground game at the front of Kato Namoja, by the way, is normally very good, but nothing compared to that of Mini Milk, and Kato Namoja swipes off the side armour of Kato Namoja. And I think the top armour's come loose as well. Great effectiveness here from Mini Milk, but Mini Milk getting pounded by Kato's hammer. It's a great fight here. Good tactical driving from both. Kato Namoja, so far I'd say has probably been slightly on top in terms of aggression and control, but the damage is now starting to pile up, isn't it, from Cowtools, and good strategy from the two as well. This is interesting, a very, very interesting fight for the right to fight Atlas, of course. At the end of the episode, Atlas lying in wait. Who would they rather fight? On the evidence of this, Cowtools for a debutant has been absolutely superb, and I think has well and truly earned the right to fight in the next series of LEGO Wars with this performance. Kato Namoja lifted off the floor once again by Mini Milk, the Minibot proving enormously effective as it has done throughout the night. Can they get any purchase there? Kato Namoja on the main Cow Tools robot who just sits back and lets the weapon spin up and then brings it into play when required. This is excellent teamwork and control from Mini Milk and Cow Tools. And Kato Nemoidia here, who is, no slouches. Experienced robot ears are going to have a tough ask when it goes to the judges here, which is going to go to the judges. 5 seconds remain. But it's going to be a tough one to call between Kato Nemoidia, who has sustained damage at the end. Massive damage at the end. 2 wheels ripped away by Cow Tools. What a performance. A stunning display of control by Kato and teamwork by Cow Tools and Mini Milk. Kato saw the threat of Mini Milk and tried to eliminate it early on. They used the hammer effectively whilst they could, but as Mini Milk was recovered by Cow Tools, that's when the tide of the fight really started to change. In underneath Kato there, impact after impact from that Cow Tools weapon, leading to this point here, where Kato lost both its rear wheels, sustaining heavy damage at the end of the fight.
And the winner by unanimous decision is Cow Tools. And so it's the rookies Cow Tools who will face our bounty boss tonight. Despite a stunning debut fight taking out the favourites 23 Red, Cow Tools have perhaps not shown out and out knockout potential, but its impressive longevity alongside its nuisance spot Mini Milk has taken them to this point, so let's find out if they have what it takes to finish the job against the bulldozing Atlas.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
Atlas, our champion of the night, takes on our winner of the episode, if you like, Cow Tools and Mini Milk, who have been brilliantly effective so far and have been really good so far at getting round to the side and vulnerable rear, of course, of Atlas. Those tracks are susceptible to horizontal spinners, they know that, but the problem they've got is they can't really defend against 2 competitors in the arena at the same time, and those tracks are not going to last. Impact after impact from Cow Tools, and Mini Milk is used as a distraction really well here, getting round to the side and pushing in up the side of Atlas. What can Atlas do? Well, they can lose a track to to Cow Tools. That's what they can do. Mini Milk now in underneath, and Cow Tools here has one hand on the victory over Atlas. They've ripped away one of the tracks. That's what they needed to do. And, well, what can Atlas do now? They are up against it, against this amazing newcomer to the LEGO Wars arena, Cow Tools, swinging that weapon backward and forward, causing all kinds of carnage for Atlas. What can Atlas do to win from here? They are a legend of the show. LEGO Wars, former international champions, the most winningest robot in all of LEGO Wars history. They've won the most fights ever, but they cannot defend those tracks, and Cow Tools has a design and a teammate. Well, it doesn't have a teammate anymore. Friendly fire once again from Cow Tools. That's going to diminish the effectiveness of Cow Tools as the whole, but the teamwork of these two throughout the night has been of massive notes. Oh, Mini Milk in the pit. Well, that's a shame. Mini Milk eliminated from the fight. That's going to diminish Cow Tools' effectiveness, as I said, but that might not matter because one of the tracks of Atlas is already gone, and I do wonder how long Atlas can remain in the fight competitively against Cow Tools, because Cow Tools has done the damage it needed to. It's getting in underneath Atlas and pushing it back. The legend on the very lip of the pit, the newcomer, could get a very famous win here against Atlas. They're clinging on for dear life. Round comes the weapon of Cow Tools again. Oh, but gets away with it, Atlas. But they can only get away with this for so long, and there goes the second track. They are immobilised in the centre of the arena. Cow Tools has won the fight and have beaten Atlas and have claimed the trophy of, well, the bounty, if you like, of Atlas. Eliminated from the fight, the clock ticks down to a very famous win for Cow Tools as they progress through and beat a legend in Atlas.
6.
Down the pit goes Atlas. Cow Tools is your winner for the Atlas episode of LEGO Wars Champions. What a win! Well, we know Atlas traditionally struggles against the horizontal spinners, and when there was 2 robots in the arena at once, they struggled even more, as we saw the great effectiveness of the teamwork again between Cow Tools and Mini Milk. Great aggression here, not so much control there, getting caught in the crossfire of its own teammate's weapon, and eventually in the pit as well, but it didn't really matter. Once the manoeuvrability was gone on one side, the second would surely follow, and a pitting from Cow Tools and Atlas to claim a famous victory.
And with that dominant display, Kautos exposes Atlas's weakness with relative ease. It's been a grueling night of action as a real mixed bag of machines took to the arena, but it would be Kautos getting the Strang seal of approval to move on to our LEGO Wars Champions final. That's all from us tonight, but join us next time when another fleet of machines fight to take on a champ. For now though, I've been your host David Smeg, and we'll see you in the next one.